Hi, I'm Pam Hiller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica, AccuQuilt marketing specialist.
We're here today to show you how to make our Go True North Mariner's Compass pillow using the Go Mariner's Compass 12-inch finished block on board. Now, quilters, this is not a beginner block. It's definitely meant for a more advanced quilter, don't you think, Erica?
Oh, yes. Now, this is a block that's traditionally put together with foundation paper piecing to get all those thin, perfect points. But thanks to this fantastic die, it's possible for you to piece it together with specialized notches and dog ears that are cut for you. Now, this die is on a 10 by 24 die board, so it will work with the Go Big, or a studio cutter with the appropriate adapter.
All right, quilters, take a look at this die. The pieces are all labeled for you, and you'll want to keep track of all your pieces for this one, as well as follow the directions. This die is designed to cut an entire block in just one pass through the cutter. It's going to be well worth your time to dig out some of your old fabric you don't love and make a test block. Don't you think, Erica?
I totally agree. And we both did that when we started working with this block, I know.
Oh yeah, we certainly did. Now, before we get started, you can find the instructions for this project on the die package, but you can also download it from AccuQuilt.com.
Okay, well, let's get started by cutting out a block. Now, this die is designed to cut a 5-color block in one pass, and the pieces are grouped together by color. For this project, we just need 3 colors.
Right.
So you'll want to follow the directions on how to prep your fabric in the pattern for this one, and you'll want to keep that pattern handy.
Right. Now, quilters, having the pieces labeled on the die is going to be important for you when you start sewing. Let's get the fabric laid out here. You want to follow the instructions. You're going to want to place all of your fabric right side up. All right, Erica, we're going to cover this section with our pretty blue.
Love these fabrics.
Isn't it fun? And then we're going to cover our second section with the gray.
Okay.
And then this right here is our bubble fabric.
Perfect. All right. Now, we have a finished project here. We've got a partial block here. We really want to show you how to sew this all together. So I'm going to get this cut so that we can get started.
Perfect. All right, quilters, once Erica is done cutting the pieces, I'm going to suggest laying out your sections.
Good idea.
Which is what I've kind of done here. You're going to see how everything goes together so well, but don't rush that process, and you're really going to be happy with the results, okay? So here's my pro tip for you. Make a copy of the die or draw out a diagram of the pieces so you can keep track of which piece is which.
That's a great idea. And here's another one for you. You may want to take that test block that you've made and keep it handy so that you can refer to it along with the pattern. You may even want to label the pieces on your test block.
All right, quilters, before we start sewing our pieces together, I'm going to tell you to lay out your pieces. So we're going to start with B and C.
Okay, here's B.
Yep. And here's C, so B is going to go on the outside. Here's my tip, quilters. See, there isn't a notch there? That's how you know you're sewing on the right side.
Now the other side is going to be D.
It is.
And that is right here.
Okay.
That is an unnotched piece.
It is an unnotched piece. Look at this.
And then we're going to go to
E.
E. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. We double checked. Like she said, we've both done it wrong before.
Right. And this little piece right here is one of these little eyes. I need eye.
You need eye. Okay,
there we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to build it again over here. So we need the next group of G. I think it's F and H.
Okay. So this is going to be the outside one because it's got the notch.
Right.
This will go towards the inside.
Right. Okay.
And then
yes,
that one.
Yeah, and G. Okay, and then this is this little guy right here.
Guy right there.
Right, and then we're going to sew this all together, and then it gets a shape A. Well, then it gets an arch and a shape A.
Right.
Okay. Again, you want to lay it out. make a test block. When I made this block, I actually did some chain piecing. It needs 4 blocks.
Right.
So I cut enough for 4 pieces and just chain stitched for days.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to take these 2 pieces right here, B and C.
And really, they're going to lay out just perfectly for you because of those specialized dog ears.
They are.
Now, all of these have 1/4 inch seam allowances built in, and they all want to be pressed open, except for that outer arch. So I'm going to be Pam's presser here.
She is. Okay.
Keep your pattern handy.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So this goes there. So now we're going to sew that piece onto there.
Yep. And again, can't you see how perfect this would be for chain piecing?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Let's
and also quilters,
one.
you want a true 1/4 inch seam. Sometimes quilters are like, oh, should I do a scant 1/4 inch seam?
Right.
Right.
So in other words,
that's how you're going to get those good points.
That's how you're going to get those good points. Okay, so now we're ready to sew this part on.
Right. So look, quilters, there's just a little tiny arch there. So you want to make sure that you're lining up the notch. And again, we've cut off those dog ears, line up those notches.
I'm going to press this open for you.
Okay. While Erica's doing that, I'm going to start on this next section right here.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm going to add the other piece to this side.
Okay.
Again, no notches, so
No
I know
notches,
that that's
you know
right.
they go together. Okay, we're going to put this together.
Now, Erica, did you make just a 3-color one, or did you make a 5-color block?
I think I made a 5-color one. It may have even been 6. I don't know. I may have gotten carried away.
It was pretty fun when
It
she's
was
kind
pretty
of
fun.
in the groove.
And I was amazed at how it went together so well. I just found myself like sitting at my sewing machine and giggling.
Yeah.
That's when you know that something's going together really well.
So again, Erica's going to press those seams open, and now I'm going to add this little section E right here, and you're going to know that you've lined it up because there are no notches on either side.
No notches.
Now we're going to add little piece J. And the reason I know that it's lined up correctly is because there's notches on both sides there, and there's none on this side. So again, you want to follow those patterns and instructions. And so B to C, and then add D. And then you're going to add that cute little piece right here, which is I and E.
Right.
And then you're going to create that same block over here.
Okay, now here's the other side.
Great.
And that's going to go on the other side of that piece, and we're creating that curved piece that the corner piece will go on, right?
Right. All right, here we go. And again, quilters, take your time. You know, make sure you're laying out your pieces correctly. Okay?
And take the time to do the pressing too. I know we don't always take the time to press in between pieces, but I really recommend it with this one. It's going to make it all go together, especially with these fine, thin little points.
Right. Yeah, if you just try to sew the whole row together without pressing it open, you're going to lose those points.
We're going to lose those. Okay. So now,
if we were at home, we would take our good iron,
right, a
and
big
press
one,
that,
and press that,
press
nice
it down.
and flat.
Okay. Now we're going to add this little arch. Now notice, as we have been doing this, the lovely Erica has been pressing our seams open. But when we get to this arch part, what's going to happen is we're actually going to press it out towards the arch.
Right.
And it's going to want to live there.
It will. It will. It'll go very naturally. Now, when we sew a curve like this, Pam and I always like to remember to keep our smile on top. Because you want to go ahead and keep that curved piece on top when you're sewing. And the notches are there to help you. It's going to go together really well. Now, Pam teases me about being a pinner, but this is a time where you probably, and even Pam, is going to reach for those pins and put a pin at those notches. Really, it's all about kind of guiding that top piece through. It's going to fit very naturally.
Yep. And I do. I pin it all the time now. And there were 4 notches, quilters. I put in 4 pins.
There you go.
All right, so here we go. And again, you want to take your time. You just want to guide that fabric through.
I had somebody tell me once you should always use the same machine all the way through a project. not switch out machines, just in case there's something that's a little bit different.
Oh, that's really interesting. This is actually my machine from home because I knew right where that 1/4 inch seam was, and I wanted to make sure that I got it.
You want it to be comfortable.
Yes.
This is great. So this is going to give us that last 1/4 of the block once we sew this last piece onto it, once we get this curve on.
And notice, quilters, I am just taking my time.
Yep.
Just want to make sure it gets on there correctly.
What is it you say? It's not
Indy
not a
500.
race.
It's
That's
not
right.
Indy
It's not
500.
the Indy 500.
There's no prize for finishing first. Okay. So now look at this. So again, Erica's going to press right out towards that, and it's naturally going to want to go there.
And I started at the center. I like to kind of start at the center and work out towards each side.
Yes.
When I do that.
Yes.
Again, a lot of times you don't press between steps in a block, but this isn't that time.
Yeah.
This is where you really want to. And see how nicely that lays down. It's just great.
It's pretty.
It sure is. Okay.
So now the last thing we need to do is add this shape A. You want to make sure that in the block you sew the pieces together, add the arch, and then add shape A. If you try to add shape A before then, it will not work. Yeah. So I'm going to just line them up right here on those notches again.
Again, we got notches.
Now this die would be so cool with some of our other bobs, like Storm at Sea.
It would. So many possibilities. You're going to come up with so many great project ideas, I know.
Yeah.
Different color combinations.
Okay. So now Erica's going to press that seam open again, because we're back to the pressing the seams
And we're
open.
about ready to show you the magic moment when this all goes together. So this is going to go, so basically this is our 1/4 of a block that we've done. So we're going to go ahead now and we can sew this onto this 1/4 of the block.
Right here.
Here we go, get our 4 points.
Yep. And don't be all worried because this is wonky, okay?
Right.
Because it's going to work together, okay? So we're going to sew this little block together and show you here.
When we're all done then, you can go ahead, we cut the circle out and you can applique that right onto the center. Now we do have a free downloadable embroidery that you can use for that, or you could go ahead, you could do it by hand, you could do a raw stitch applique with some fusible.
You could.
Or you could even do a little freezer paper, cut your freezer paper out of that shape and use that as a template to fold your fabric around. So lots of different options for that center, however you want to finish it.
Right, because some of you quilters don't have an embroidery machine, and we get that. So we wanted to give you some good options.
Okay, let me give this.
Yep.
And then we're going to be ready to put it all together.
So now you can see that we've created this 1/2, and now we're going to sew it to the other half.
Right.
Line up those notches.
Perfect.
Yep. And then I'm going to do my last side here. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And do you want to get our little circle? You've already talked about it, but let's show them the one we cut.
Where's our circle? Here it is. And you could go ahead and fuse your fabric before you cut your circle as well if you want to use a fusible method.
Yes. That's what I did actually on the pillow, Erica, was
Did you?
I did that fusible and then I just did some raw edge quilting around it. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
All right, so let's lay it out here.
Okay, so you take your nice big good iron.
Nice
and
good
press
iron,
it
get
flat.
it all pressed flat. That's going to fit right exactly over that section.
Isn't that amazing?
Now we only need 4 blocks to do our true north pillow. So once you've got your 4 blocks done and sewn together, you want to give it a good press, like Pam said, with her big iron.
Right.
And layer that on top of your batting and some muslin. Pin or baste it and go ahead and get it quilted.
All right, quilters, after that, you're ready to assemble your pillow. The full directions on how to assemble this pillow are in the free downloadable pattern. Now, quilters, we know you're going to love making this pillow, and we look forward to seeing what else you make using the Go Mariner's Compass block on board. Remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.